Good evening. Sorry to keep you waiting. I decided to do an IG Live.
Donald Trump is once again at the center of a scandal. This time, he publicly called Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett a low IQ person. She did not remain silent and immediately responded to him on Twitter.
They've gone crazy. They've gone crazy. How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're serious.
Jasmine Crockett is back in action. She didn't miss the opportunity to take a jab at Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Yes, the pair that can now safely be referred to online as the budget-cutting duo. The Congresswoman took to Twitter to remind everyone that budget cuts via Doge are no laughing matter, but a very real problem. And that's not all. Crockett also slammed Trump's decision to cancel initiatives on diversity, equality, and inclusivity. In her opinion, this is a step backward, and a big one at that. In short, Crockett is not limiting herself to a first term. She clearly came to Congress to speak her mind.
We are clearly on a roller coaster, and it's not just those of us in the United States. It's our friends and our enemies, and obviously it is also the markets. I can't keep up with which way he is going when it comes to his strategy.
President Donald Trump is back in the spotlight, and, as is often the case, not without controversy. In an interview with Kristen Welker of NBC News, he decided to take a swing at the Democratic Party. According to him, the Democrats are in complete disarray, and he doesn't even have anyone to single out. But he did mention one name, Jasmine Crockett. Trump said, "They have this new person named Crockett. I saw her speech the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person, and they say she's the future of the party."
You think Trump is distancing himself from Elon
Yeah,
Musk?
because as soon as people started to look at his ratings, right, like he continues to have these failing ratings. So now they're like, oh, get rid of Elon. But let me tell you, the stench ain't getting off of you, Trump, honey. Like, you are a problem. He is a problem. Pete is a problem. All of y'all a problem.
We are talking about Jasmine Crockett, a young congresswoman from Texas who began her first term in the House of Representatives in January 2023. Despite being relatively new to politics, she is already difficult to call an inconspicuous figure. She has made a name for herself by frequently criticizing both Trump and, for example, Elon Musk. Her response to Trump was not long in coming. On Twitter, Crockett wrote, "To be the leader of the entire country, you sure do say my name a lot. Every time you do, you just remind the world that you're afraid of smart, brave black women who speak the truth and call you out. So keep talking." This is far from the first time Crockett has engaged in open conflict with Republicans. For example, in January, she had a heated exchange with Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina. This happened during a meeting of the Oversight Committee, when they were discussing a bill that would ban transgender athletes from participating in women's competitions if the sport is funded by the state. The argument quickly turned personal, but Crockett, as before, did not back down. She also criticized the current administration's policies, including budget cuts implemented through the Department of Management and Budget, DOGE, and the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The very DEI programs in companies and educational institutions. So Crockett is new to Congress, but she is certainly no stranger to fighting. And if President Trump hoped to undermine her reputation, judging by the reaction on social media, he has achieved the opposite.
And now in the 119th Congress, the chairman and House Republicans have decided to prioritize the demands of the real president, Elon Musk, and his billionaire friends over the needs of the American people.
Jasmine Crockett often gets into heated arguments, not only with Trump, but also with other Republicans. One of the most memorable moments occurred in January when she clashed with Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina.
Congresswoman.
I was just going to say, make sure that your trusted messenger should be trusted. That's number one. And then, you know, Pastor Haynes talked about the news media, and I did, you know, text Doc immediately when I saw what happened on CNN because I was so frustrated because I knew the truth about all of what was going on, especially with Nancy Mace, because she is racist.
During the debate on the bill on transgender athletes, Crockett accused Mace of opposing the rights of transgender people, to which Mace responded by suggesting that they take it to the streets.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out.
Crockett, without missing a beat, replied, "If you want to take it outside, we can do that." Well, apparently Congress is not only a place where laws are passed, but also a venue for rare verbal battles.
When I tell you that the level of incompetence is almost like incomprehensible, it is so bad. And when you bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk,
And that's not all. In February, when asked what she would like to say to Elon Musk, Crockett didn't mince words. She answered simply and succinctly, "Fuck off." The interview quickly went viral thanks to a video posted on Twitter by user Call to Activism, which captured the encounter with Crockett's comments. After that, of course, social media exploded, and the laughter in the room only added fuel to the fire.
he is not only like very sinister and has no idea of what he's doing, and people are like, oh no, he absolutely knows because he's the richest man in the world. Like, yes, he knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't.
But here's an interesting point. Despite all her harshness and colorful statements, Crockett apologized to the world in March. Apparently, even such a determined and courageous congresswoman understands when it is necessary to take a step back and apologize. Later in March, Jasmine Crockett attracted attention again, this time by supporting the Tesla takedown movement. She wrote on Twitter, "March 29th is my birthday, and all I want on this day is for Elon to be destroyed." This tweet, of course, did not go unnoticed, as Crockett's words were quite harsh, and her position towards Musk and his company became even more obvious. When U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi asked her to comment on her position, Crockett did not mince words and stated that she plans to attend one of the demonstrations organized by supporters of the Tesla takedown movement. For those who don't know, this movement is aimed at criticizing Musk and his actions, and Crockett clearly supports those who want to fight his influence on society and politics. But that's not all. Last month, MAGA comedian Terrence C. Williams mocked Crockett online, sharing a video titled, "Who looks better, me or Jasmine Crockett?" In the video, he wore a wig and glasses reminiscent of Crockett's style, as well as fake nails imitating her look. Of course, the video quickly gained views, and Williams himself did not miss the opportunity to poke fun at her image and political statements. In addition, Crockett found herself at the center of another scandal in March when she referred to Texas Governor Greg Abbott as the Hot Wheels governor during a press conference. It was a rather scathing comment that did not go unnoticed, especially given the polarized relationship between state politicians and Crockett.
You know, we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So,
Jasmine Crockett isn't one to keep her thoughts to herself, and her comments about Elon Musk, Texas, and other hot topics just show that she got into politics to really go after people she disagrees with. She's not afraid to speak her mind, even if it stirs things up. Crockett later clarified her comment about the Texas governor. When her harsh statement sparked a wave of criticism, she explained that she was not referring to his disability, but to his deportation methods and harsh immigration policies. Abbott was indeed paralyzed in 1984 after being struck by a falling tree while jogging. However, according to Crockett, her statement was not about his physical condition, but was intended to criticize his actions as a politician. Nevertheless, despite the explanation, the situation still sparked a lot of discussion, and it once again highlighted how often her words become a source of controversy. Crockett is not used to holding back in her statements, and even when she has to clarify her words, she remains the center of attention. This time, she said that most Republicans in Congress consider Trump's tariffs insane. Crockett's statement underscores her opinion of some of the current president's decisions, especially those related to the economy. According to her, even among Republicans, there are those who consider his economic policy not only controversial, but also extremely risky.
The fact that we have Americans that are waking up and saying, wait a minute, are you saying that tariffs are going to negatively impact me? Are you saying that we're going to have to pay for this? It's kind of like that wall that we're still waiting on Mexico to build, right? That they're going to pay for it. No, we're going to pay for it. We're going to be the ones that are suffering. And for those that thought that inflation was bad, even though it has come down, even though that it is honestly, cooled off here a lot quicker than it cooled off in the rest of the world.
Jasmine Crockett did not hold back her opinion on Donald Trump's politics and Republicans. In an interview with CNN on Friday evening, she stated that most members of the Republican Party are willing to publicly do whatever Trump wants them to do at any time. However, in her opinion, the ongoing chaos caused by Trump's presidential tariffs and economic policies has become a real problem. She also sharply criticized the massive cuts in the president's recently proposed budget, calling them absolute madness. For Crockett, such measures, especially in light of the current economic situation, appear extremely risky and impractical. This statement only underscores her opposition to Trump's policies, especially on economic and social justice issues.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fight with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the up because I'm ready to get on.
Jasmine Crockett does not hide her disappointment with how current representatives in Congress are responding to the needs of voters. In an interview, she admitted, "Unfortunately, I don't feel like we live in a time where these representatives, whether they're senators or members of the House, are listening to their constituents." According to her, if these politicians really listen to their constituents, they would hear their pain, which she believes is felt across the political spectrum.
The Republicans' recklessness and chaotic approach to reducing the size of government has shown us what we've already known. Concepts of a plan don't work. This is the committee's fourth hearing, and still no one from the so-called Department of Government Efficiency has testified before this committee about their plans to break the federal.
This pain is spreading across the political spectrum. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, the cuts you've been talking about will affect everyone, Crockett said. This rather harsh statement underscores her concern about how those in power in Washington are ignoring the real problems of the people, regardless of their political affiliation. When Crockett was asked how Trump is pressuring Republicans in Congress, she did not mince words. She replied, "It seems like they always do what he wants, right?" Crockett added that behind closed doors, many Republicans admit that Trump's tariffs and other decisions are insane.
Reducing the size of government has shown us what we've already known. Concepts of a plan don't work. This is the committee's fourth hearing, and still no one from the so-called Department of Government Efficiency has testified before this committee about their plans to break the federal government, because as it turns out, breaking the federal government doesn't just hurt people you don't like. It's not just going to be Democrats who miss out on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, or only Democratic veterans who'll miss out on their VA benefits. Their approach will negatively impact all Americans. So it's unfortunate that Republicans have taken a seemingly bipartisan issue and included it as part of their scam to subsidize tax giveaway for billionaires. They haven't proposed anything that will improve the efficiency of the government. Instead, they have put the country on a path to a recession and implemented the largest tax increase on Americans in decades through Trump's tariffs. This hearing is their latest attempt to try to convince the American people that dismantling public-facing agencies will somehow improve government efficiency.
Behind closed doors, they'll talk about how crazy these things are. You can find plenty of Republicans who will tell you that these tariffs are a problem. They'll tell you that, and they know it's a problem. That's why they don't want to go out and listen to their constituents by holding town hall meetings, she emphasized. Crockett is convinced that many politicians are afraid to hear the truth from their constituents because they know their decisions are not supported.
The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
She also spoke about recent congressional hearings where some Republicans refused to comment on or defend amendments to bills proposed by their own party. They were literally silent, Crockett said in an interview with CNN. It was almost as if they were told, "Don't say anything because we can't win. We just need to vote against these reasonable amendments and get through this because that's what we've been told to do." Crockett emphasizes that Republicans actually know that their actions are not in the best interests of voters, but they prefer to remain silent and follow the party line. This behavior, in her opinion, only serves to undermine voter confidence in the system.
The reason that I do the work that I do is because of you. And I try to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm continuously focused on the people that are back home, the people that are relying on me to be an authentic and unwielding voice for them.
Crockett continued her criticism, arguing that the current political situation is increasingly distancing lawmakers from the real problems facing people. In her opinion, Republicans in Congress are succumbing to pressure and ignoring the needs of voters, focusing instead on party politics. She believes that in such an atmosphere, politics becomes a business rather than a service to the public. Lawmakers, in her view, are increasingly making decisions not to solve pressing problems, but to please the political elite and maintain their power.
I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in D.C., we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they're trying to pull right now.
She noted that voters are tired of empty promises and demand action. People want their problems solved, not politicians continuing to play their games. When the government works for its own interests rather than for the people, it creates enormous problems that become more and more apparent with each passing year.
For felony conviction. So listen, I don't want to hear anything from the Republican Party about how they're trying to keep us safe when their fearless leader is actually the biggest criminal thus far that we have seen, because I haven't seen anybody with a rap sheet that looks like.
Crockett stressed that if this trend continues, it will become even more difficult to restore public confidence in the political process. She continues to fight for change, convinced that real politics should be aimed at the good of the people, not at maintaining power by ignoring their needs. According to her, it is important that politicians start taking into account the real needs of their constituents and begin acting in their interests, rather than following the orders of party leaders. Only then can we hope to restore trust in the political system and bring about real improvement in the country.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
Jasmine Crockett continues to be a voice that is not afraid to ask uncomfortable questions and expose problems within the political system. Her speeches show how important it is for politicians not to forget those who elect them and not to succumb to pressure from party elites. Real change comes when politics starts serving the interests of the people, not just keeping people in power. Let's hope that in the future, these discussions will lead to a more responsible and open political process where the interests of citizens come first.